Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of our February sampler class. We are doing our spring sampler for March, and we're using the Flowering Rain Boots bundle and the Tulip Fields bundle, and then the dies that go with those. So everything's already stamped and die cut for you. These are from the Playful Alphabet, and I think that's it. I think everything else is in those bundles. So let me let you know what you need before we get started. You're going to need for adhesives some glue dots, the liquid glue, your seal adhesive, maybe some Scotch tape. And then for the cloud, I used a chalk marker, so it's already stamped for you. But you'll need to do so either chalk marker or gel pen, or you could use a blender pen and some white craft ink, whatever you have to just kind of make your cloud a little bit lighter. If you don't have any of those, you could try using a teeny bit of bleach with a very small paintbrush and just bleach out the color as well. So that's kind of a different look. And then you'll need dimensionals. All right, so let's get started. We are going to just bring in our pieces in the order that they are stacked. So, oh, well, you know what? In this packet, I've die cut everything, and those are all kind of stacked in the on top. So we'll just take those off and then start from the panel that's on top there. All right, so the first one is the top right corner, and we have, this one is actually, the paper's cut, the designer paper is a little smaller, and I put the exact measurements because we have different size panels on this one. So this is going to layer. I don't know why I can't talk and glue at the same time. Oh my gosh. Hello. All right, this is centered with a very thin border. You know what? I feel like that doesn't look right. Okay, maybe that's better. I'm not sure I cut this small enough. You know, you should double check your paper before you glue it down. So this is the white's 2.5 by 2.5. And this should be 2 3/8 by 2 3/8. Let me see. Where's... Hold on, there's 2.5, so 2 3/8. I've already got all this adhesive on here. Yep, I didn't cut that quite small enough. Let me trim that just a hair. Oh my goodness. See, this would have been so much easier if I'd done it before I put adhesive on there. Yikes. All right, double check your measurements. I'm sorry, I might have cut those a little bit too big. All right, let's try this again. Oh, so much better. Okay, double check. This should be 2 3/8 by 2 3/8 for the designer paper. So I am sincerely sorry if I cut that a little big, but better too big than too small. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, so on this one, we are going to put our leaves down first. Now, if you want, I'm going to see if this will work. If you have a blender pen, if you want to try doing a little blending on your leaves before you put them down, or any of these stamped images, you can absolutely do that. If you do, it just kind of adds just a teeny bit of color to the whiter areas. So that's entirely up to you if you want to do that or not. All right, so I'm going to adhere this flat, trying to center it, and then we're going to pop up our flowers. So our plants were stamped in, the leaves are in Old Olive, and then the flowers I have done in Mango Melody. Okay, so I just used 3-dimensional. So I want to make sure at least get this one lined up with that stem and this one on this end stem. Okay, and then if you want, you can just take your blender pen and do a little coloring. This is completely optional, but I like to do it. I just think it adds a little pop to it. All right, so that is first panel down. Okay, the next one you have is the bicycle. So here we have our cloud. I'm going to just take my chalk marker and just color in a little bit. I'm trying to avoid the lines, so those outlines are still pretty strong. Just make it a little bit lighter than the background. All right, then you have a strip of green. So I'm going to do just a little bit of a hill. Let's see. Not a big hill. Just to give it a little more movement so it's not quite so straight. Now I didn't put it right up to the edge because we have a tree. We're going to take our tree and just adhere this flat because it's in the distance, so we don't want it popped up. And I'm just sticking it right under the edge of that grassy hill. And right to the edge of our paper there. So I put those two in, and then I'm going to put this down on our panel. Okay, now you have a little red bike. This is Poppy. So on here I use soft suede and old olive for the tree. Make sure you pop out all the little spokes and the basket holes. Okay, now you also have this little piece right here. So this is the basket. I just die cut a piece for the basket. So pop up the holes of the basket, hopefully. All right, then we're going to trim the basket off. So all that extra we don't need. And I'm going to glue this basket on top of this basket. I just wanted a different color basket, because your basket's almost never the same color as your bike. So I'm just putting a very thin amount of Tombow on the red basket. I'm going to pick that up and just set it right on top. Overlap it. That's all you have to do. Okay, make sure all your little hanging pieces are gone. And then I'm going to put just a little bit of thin Tombow on the bike. It doesn't have to be on all the pieces, just enough to hold it on. A little bit on the wheels, teeny bit on the seat. All right, and then I'm putting this a little more to the left, and it will overlap the tree, just like that. Just give it a press. Make sure it is stuck on there good. Okay. All right, next piece, it's the last small piece. So it's just, the back of it has that green grid. So everyone will have different flowers. It's just the whole paper is a field of flowers. So everybody will have some different colored flowers on here. So we're gonna adhere that to the center. All right, then we have our watering can. Now mine, yes, the first round it wasn't stamping well, so I had to use the, you can put it at an angle if you want. I'm gonna try to put this straight, but it will overlap a little bit, that's okay. All right, then we have our seed packet. We're gonna pop up our seed packet. Before I do that though, I think I'm gonna take, yeah, my watering can wasn't stamping really well. was leaving kind of a splotchy area. So I had to flip it over and do a little bit more. Okay. Do that. And then I'm going to put my seed packet. Let's peel that off. Kind of leaning on my can. You could put your can up a little higher if you want. I'm just gonna do this. I'm not gonna do the label though. I want that a little whiter. Okay, now the only cheating I did on here with the silver foil, because I really wanted a silver foil little hand rake, and we don't have any silver foil right now. We have brush metallics, but it's all kind of like the yellowy metallics. So I did steal a little silver foil from my stash. But now I'm not popping this up. I just put glue, and I'm going to have it so it's kind of leaning out. So it almost gives it a dimensional look, because this part is popped up and this isn't. So just make sure those two areas are glued to your seed packet and then the base. Just like that. Cute. All right, that one's done. Now we're gonna bring in this panel right here. All right, oh, I've got letters sticking to my fingers. So this is 5 3/4 by 2 3/4. So this DSP is 5 1/2 by 2 1/2. I have my little flowers kind of going out, you know, poking up like this. You know, the three of them going up. Okay, so for this one we have our boots, our poppy boots, and our, ooh, I think I used Flirty Flamingo. I might have said Polished Pink, but it's Flirty Flamingo. I can't remember what I wrote. You could use Polished Pink too, but I just did that on the flowers, and then just gonna do a little bit of blending on my boots. When you do this, it kind of makes the colors pop a little bit, but be careful because any reds bleed a little bit. So you don't want to get too close to the edge. You're gonna do that. Make sure you get all of it covered though. All right. So I'm going to adhere these flat. And we're gonna pop up our flowers. Use 2 pop-ups, and they want to look like they're kind of coming out of the boots. Okay, now we have our tag, and this is some of the new Fan Baker's twine. So I'm going to run this down through one end and then back up through there, and I want to adhere this to the panel. I want to pop it up, so I'm going to put a pop-up on the bottom, and then I might do 2 at the top, but I don't want to interfere with the string, so I'm not making sure that these don't touch the string. All right, and you can use mini dimensionals too, you don't have to use the big ones. And we're going to center this. All right, then I can bring that string around, and then we're going to tie a bow. Now, if you want, you can tape this in the back, but you don't have to because we've already got it stuck to the front. We're going to tie a nice tight bow if we can. And I don't like my loops too big, so I kind of pull them in. And just play with your bow until you get it how you want it. Well, I want to pull that back out a little bit. Okay. Now you can leave this longer if you want, whatever you like. I'm going to trim it off a little bit. Just want to make sure I can read the words. Okay, that's it for that one. And then last one, we have this nice big panel. I need to make it big because I wanted to put this windmill on here. Now, you have this paper. I love that side too. And it has clouds, so you put whichever side up that you want. I think I'm going to do, everybody's will be different. I think I'm going to do it this side. So just play with it and see what you like. The bottom's going to be covered by our hill. Okay, so now we have a piece of old olive. And I want to make a hill and not make it too crazy because we are going to, if you want, put the word spring across the bottom. So I want to make sure that it's nice and smooth. So I'm going to flip it over and do this hill first. And you could make it as tall or as short as you want. Just doing kind of one big hill. And then maybe flatten it out a little. All right. So basically like that, I think. We'll just put that down and see what happens. All right. I kind of like this because it looks like, you know, there's clouds from behind the hill. Super cool. All right. Now I'm going to do the word spring before I put my windmill on, only because I want to make sure that I'm going to have enough space for the words. So unfortunately, I did not put the adhesive, so you're going to have to use a little bit of Tombow, but just use a small amount. And I'm going to start right on the edge. So we make sure we have enough room. And I'm going to put these pretty close together. Give it a good push. Because when you die cut these letters, they're a little bit concave on the back. So you want to make sure that that glue makes contact with the paper. Okay, R. Spell out spring as you go so you don't get your letters wrong. I have to spell it. When I'm putting my dies down, I spelled welcome and spring so many times. Okay, it'll look a little gappy up at the top because we're following the hill. So my main thing was I wanted to follow the hill. Okay, now you're going to notice that you have two G's, okay? And that is because somehow I've lost the letter C out of my die set. I lost it at the fall retreat. It probably got thrown away or something by accident. So that is why you have two G's. All right, so now we're going to put our windmill together. So you need to punch out all the little holes. And hopefully I cut everything so that they come out pretty easily. If for some reason they didn't, if you can get them out, if you can't get them out, let me know and bring it to me next time I see you, and we can fix it. Or let me know and I'll cut you another one and send it to you. Okay, so you need to punch out all these little holes in the little windmill blades. I don't know what the technical name is. I should have looked that up. Okay, make sure all of those are punched out. Get rid of all that mess. All right, now we're going to use some Tombow. So I'm gluing the white on top of the gray. I'm not doing all of it, just mostly where I have some bigger spaces. And then glue this right on top. So it's just showing through where all the holes are. Okay, so it's all lined up. sure that's down. Now you will have to poke a hole right here. So just use your piercer. Poke a little hole. And then you should have a brad, a little white brad. That's going to go through the blades and then through the hole in your windmill. All right, I did mine kind of in an X pattern. You do it however you want. Flip that over, and then you have to open up your brad. You don't want it to show though, so you're gonna have to kind of twist the ends down so they're behind the windmill there. And then push that down hard. Just use something to kind of flatten it out. All right, then we are going to pop it up. So I'm putting a pop-up right there to hold those in place. And you can do maybe 3. You certainly don't need more than 3. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I'm not covering up any of my letters. And it's okay if it comes off the sides. But I want it far down enough so I can use the word, put the word welcome up here. All right, now to do the words, here's a little trick. So I'm going to make sure my panel is on, you know, it's just straight. I'm using a piece of grid paper. If you don't have grid paper, it's okay because you can do it without grid paper. But it helps kind of to give it a line up. So let me figure out where I want my letters. I want them right about here. So if I put it over, maybe lined up on this grid. Maybe I'm going to go up one more. Right here, so that's going to kind of put it straight across. So if you have some sort of a straight edge, or you could use Post-it notes or something, just kind of mark it out so it looks pretty straight. I'm going to just start with my W, putting a teeny bit of glue. You know, I really don't want it that far up. I'm going to go down half a square. Okay, we'll see how this looks. I'm going to start about ½ inch over. All right, W, E. I'm going to show you how to make a C in just a sec when we get to that. Now with these, the short panel of the E is down at the bottom. So just make sure each one looks pretty straight. I feel like that E's a little off. There we go. Trying to make sure they're all flush with the bottom. Okay, so now we have our G we have to turn into a C. So what I'm going to do is just right at this corner of the G, kind of cut it out at a little bit of an angle, like a 45-degree angle. All right, and then I'm going to take the top one, just so it's even, and cut it at a 45-degree angle. So I'm just kind of cutting off the little corner, just so my two C angles are pretty close. You might have to trim that just a hair more. Just close enough. In that set, if you're doing this yourself, there's also a weird little like C with a little squiggle on top. You could use that too. And just cut off the squiggle, that'd probably be easier. I didn't notice it until, of course, I'd already done all my C's, or the extra G's. So in the future, if I need that, that's what I will probably use. Okay. We put our O, and then M. Keep in mind, I am putting very little glue on these. And probably not super straight anymore either. feel like this is moved. An M. My O's a little smaller. All right, let's pull that up. Scooch my M up a little bit. This is probably the hardest part out of everything, is getting this word welcome straight. That's all I'm going to say. But if you want to purposefully do it wonky, sometimes I do it. Oh, shoot. Sometimes I just do it purposely wonky so that I don't have to get it straight. All right, that's what we're going with. We're just going to let that be. Trying not to overthink it. All right, now everybody got a pack of these little loose flower flourishes. So we're going to use glue dots and I put about 5 just so it looked like a little field of flowers. And I used the larger ones, but you are welcome to play around with the big and the small. Oh, I can't pull that up. There we go. You can play around with them and see if you want to do, whoops, what happened? My glue dot stuck to my finger. Hello, what's going on? It's stuck to my finger. Let me just stick that down. Okay, we'll try it that way. But these colors go really well with this paper, so I thought this was the perfect embellishment to use for today. Put one there. We'll do a purple one. And another pink. Oh my goodness. Why am I struggling with this? You wouldn't think this would be that hard. Okay, I've lost my glue dot. Maybe this is the hardest part. Pink. Put that one going up the hill, and then one more of these little, these are, what's the color? It's not apricot. It's, is it? No. It's an in color. Oh my gosh, can't remember the color. Whatever that color is, in the in color that looks like that. That's not apricot. It has completely skipped my mind. I'll think of it in a minute. Okay, so that is it. We are done with that panel. So let's go to assemble. So we're going to bring in our sheet of 12 by 12 basic white, and we're going to start over in this corner. So make sure that your 2 pieces are flush, and this is this one right here. All right, it's killing me that I can't think of the name of that color. I want to make sure that that's even. Okay. Right here. Okay, we're going to rotate it. I'm going to do this one, the tall panel. I'll fix that in a second. All right. I love these 2 sets together. They are so cute. Okay, rotate around this way, and I think this corner is the flowers. All right, let's get this lined up. So it's flush with this one. Lined up. we could put our bike piece down since we have that in place. And just eyeball that in the center. All right, and then last one, all we have is this big panel. So I'm going to get my adhesive on here first. So a big one in the center. All right, let's get this lined up flush with the bottom. I can just put it up next to these two, and then that should have a good corner. All right. Oh, that was a lot easier to put together because all those big panels. All right, there you have it. That is all you need to do. Whoops, oh my gosh. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that one. That one had a lot of stamping and die cutting, but it was very worth it, I feel. I try to do things a little different, and look, your windmill can even turn if you're careful. All right, well, thank you so much. I hope you guys sign up for the March class, and we'll be doing April and May, which is Easter, and I don't know what we'll do for May. I gotta think about that. Something fun though. All right, thanks everybody, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.